So the video for this weekend is about a review of circumference and area of circles. So you'll see here that we have a circle that has a radius of 6, and I've given you the formulas for the circumference of a circle, which is circumference equals 2 pi radius, or pi times diameter, and the area of a circle, area equals pi radius squared. So I want to do just a quick reminder of how to work these and what to plug in. So the circumference of a circle is the measure around a circle. Now that means that if you were to take a tape measurer and lay it all the way around the circle, that is the circumference. Okay, that's the distance around the circle. Now you can find the circumference by doing 2 pi r. Circumference equals 2 pi r, where r is equal to the radius. So if you're given the radius, in this case we're given that the radius is 6, circumference equals 2 pi 6, circumference is 12 pi. Now, probably up until this point you've always had to use the pi button to calculate circumference and area, but in many cases in our class, it is perfectly fine to leave your answer as 12 pi. We're going to be using that as we go further into this unit. So for this one, your answer is 12 pi. Now let's find the area of this circle. So just remember about the area. The area is how much it would take to cover a circle. Okay? Cover it. Area is pi r squared. So area equals pi r squared. We got to figure out what our radius is. Here we know our radius is 6, so area equals pi 6 squared. Area equals 36 pi. So that's just a quick review of circumference and area. Now, we're going to talk about arc length versus arc measure, because this is tying in with circumference. The arc measure is what we've been doing up until this point. When we've been talking about arc measure, we've been talking about the degree measure that an arc has, such as in this example, I'm going to change it. If the angle measure is 90 degrees, then the arc measure is 90 degrees. Okay, we're going to be talking about arc measure as well as we go through, but it's time to introduce something different, which is arc length. By arc length, I'm talking about the distance. Now, a unit of measure, inches, feet, meters, the distance from W to Y. So think back to circumference. Isn't that what circumference is? The measure around the circle? Okay, so arc length is a portion of the circumference. Instead of the whole circumference, we're talking about just a small piece of it. In this case, it would be WY. So we're going to talk about how to find arc lengths. We're going to do just a brief introduction to it, and then we're going to talk about it more in class. So for arc length, we've got this same circle. I've already told you that this is 90 degrees. Let's say that you know that the radius is 7. So if the radius is 7, the question might ask, what is the length of WY? Okay, this is not the measure. Okay, the answer is not 90 degrees. When you're asked to find the length, you're having to use that unit of measure. So the easiest way to do it, in this case, is to find the circumference of the circle, which is circumference equals 2 pi 7. Circumference equals 14 pi. And then think about how this circle is divided up. Okay, what portion of the circle is this angle and this arc that's been created? If you answered it's 1/4 of the circle, then you're right. So wouldn't it be fair just to take the circumference and divide it by 4? I mean, you're finding a proportion, it's a ratio. So if I were to take the circumference and divide it by 4, I would have the length of WY. If you simplify this, you get 7 pi over 2. Now, when we're in class, this is going to be a lot different because we're going to be talking about the different angle measures, so you're not always going to be able to divide it so perfectly. But it's all about setting up proportions. So go to the video, go to the questions and answer the questions.